Okay, it's day 2 of the Quickie build tutorial. Day 1 was really interesting because the tutorial is working 2 ways. I managed to get loads of comments. The broken blue line that I got with the sketches we were making yesterday has been pointed out that these are construction lines, which that's really great. It's something I'm going to use going forward. So thanks very much for helping out with that. As I said, I'm not an expert on Fusion, so if there's an easier way of doing something, I'd love to have it written down in the comments for me. Alright, so first thing we're going to do today is start putting the wings together on the airplane. But I thought before we do that, it's quite a good idea sometimes to make sure everything is organised. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping and just move some of these parts that we're using into files. So that's going to be fuselage 1. Coming to in a sec. That's going to be nose. That's going to be tail. Oh, that one didn't name. And then I'm going to just move them. And then what I also tend to do is make a new group, and I call it tools, and that's where things that I'm no longer using are going to go. So that's going to go in there. And do you know what? We're going to include the tail for now in the fuselage. Okay, so on with the wing. Right, a little bit of Googling, bit of research, and if you just type in Quickie airfoil, Google will come up with the name of the airfoil, and then from there, if it's your thing, you can then Google that, use some airfoil tools where you'll come up with the exact shape of the airfoil that you're looking for. So I've already done that, so I'm going to insert these pictures as canvases, and then we're going to size them, and then we'll build some wings from there. So I'm going to go to my side view again, and we're going to insert a canvas. Wrong one. Here we go. Where is it? There it is. Okay, so the main wing is an Epler airfoil, and the front wing I'll talk about a little bit later. I think it's this one. I'm going to put it on that face, and I might as well move it somewhere a bit more sensible. And then click OK. And then we're going to need to calibrate that like we normally would. So let's get a rough idea of how long we want the chord of the wing to be. So I'm going to make a sketch, and I can use a construction line by pushing X. And we're looking at having the chord, so around 110. It's not going to hurt if we go a little bit bigger. That's usually quite a good idea for radio control airplanes, is to make the wing a bit bigger, just due to the way things scale. Okay, so now I'm going to come down to my canvases. We'll calibrate, zoom in, and from there to there, I'm going to start with 110. Cool. I reckon we're going to end up going a little bit bigger, but actually we can size that after we've made the wing. And then I just need to position it again. So edit the canvas and come up like so. Oh, there was something else I wanted to do, which I did just before I started recording. You can see that my fuselage is just sort of above the line. It looks a little bit more like a banana. So I'm just going to go to scale. I'm going to take the 3 bits that we've made. I just want to do the Z scale. And if I go 0.95, so 95% of its current size, it looks a little bit less banana-ish. So that's that. Okay, cool. Right, let's start making this wing then. So we need another sketch. And what I might do to help out is just get rid of the bodies there. Move that out of the way as well. Okay. There's no, it's not symmetrical foil, so we're not going to use a mirror line or anything here. It's just a spline tool. And I'm going to put my push the command button down so that I'm not dragged to any of the squares. Okay. I'm going to stop just a tiny bit short so that it doesn't make that trailing edge rounded. And then we need to do a little bit of... Okay. So just a bit of gentle maneuvering. And that is a good enough approximation. So I'm going to finish the sketch there. And you know what? That's flashing away. It's annoying me. So going to get rid of that for now. So the easiest thing to do here then is going to be to project this sketch to where we want the end of the wing to be, and then to scale it, and then maybe add in a little bit of washout, which is the twist that we get on the wing. But first thing, we just want to complete this sketch. There we go. So now we're going to go to construct, offset plane. We'll go from this sketch, which is already in the middle. Go to top view. And 500, 1 meter wingspan. Sounds good. Click OK. And then we're going to make a sketch on this plane. And this time we're going to go project. There we go. We want to be able to change it, so we're not going to do projection link. And now we can go modify, sketch scale, pick a point, probably the trailing edge, and then oh, that'll be the wrong way. 0.6, so a bit bigger than 0.6, 0.8, a bit smaller than 0.8, 7.5. Yeah, that looks good. And we might still tweak this again a little bit later on. We're just trying to get the wing in proportion. I think the wing might need to be a little bit bigger because 0.75 is only 75 centimeters of chord length at the tip. So in actual fact, I think we'll step away from the scale a bit here. We're going to go 80% of the wing. Right, and we have scaled it uniformly. There we go. And then the next thing we're going to do is and to add in a little bit of washout, we're going to edit this sketch. And move / copy. Actually, I've gone ahead of myself here. Finish that for a second. Just so that we're not doing enormous movements and get a bit more accurate, I'm going to put in a sketch plane or a construction plane. I'm going to add a sketch. I'm just going to go back to the back of the wing here. I'm going to put in a construction line. Oh, didn't need the 2, but it's fine. And now we're going to do what we want to do. So modify, move, select the bins I want to move, and actually I could just do it this way, can't I? If we select that point. And now which way do we want to go? We want the tip to stall after the front of the airplane. So we want to have twist that way, and I reckon only about -1.5 would be totally fine. With the main wing, it doesn't really matter that much because the main wing will be designed that it doesn't stall. What should happen on an aircraft like this is the forward wing, or canard, should stall first, and then that means that the main wing never actually gets to stall. That being said, because we've got elevators on the canard, it will be possible to maybe if you had down elevate. No, it's not going to work. You shouldn't really be able to stall it, so just a small amount of washout in the wing will be absolutely fine, just to make sure that with gusts and stuff like that. Great, right, and there we go. Now we're not going to put the anhedral in yet. We're going to build the wing straight, and then we'll add the anhedral later, and that just makes it much easier to I've just seen that we've done something wrong there. Yeah, so it's a good spot. We'll put the anhedral in later. There we go, checking our work. Okay, looks good. And then dead easy, we can just use the loft. 1, 2. There we go. There's a wing. So that's the loft function to build us our wing using the Epler airfoil. Okay, cool. Now let's move on and do the canard in exactly the same manner, and then we're going to come back and tweak everything. So we do exactly the same as before. Insert a canvas. Find the canvas wherever you've saved it. Okay, so there's 2 airfoils that you can have. Actually, do you know what? Like I've said before on previous blogs, you can use whatever airfoil you like. I mean, ultimately, if you go fast enough, a paper plane flies, a foam board, flat sheet of foam board flies. You know, go fast enough, it'll fly. And sometimes what's more important in 3D printing an airplane is making sure that the wing is structurally strong enough, that you can put the things inside it that you need to, if you're going to need servos or carbon spars, all that sort of stuff. For this model though, I've done a bit of research, and we're going to use the airfoils that the airplane uses. Now on the original Quickie, they had a GU airfoil, which is Glasgow University, and it's quite a thick shape. It had some problems on the real airplane in that if you got any leading edge contamination from bugs and insects, or even rain or wet wing, it had a degradation of its lift. Right, we're going to do what we did before. Stop talking for a second. Oop. There you go. That was... Oh, I didn't notice how long that was. So finish the sketch. Inspect. 137, and now we're going to calibrate the canvas. So here we go. This is using the LS1, which is what they put on the latter Quickies, or Q2s, Q200s. 140. Okay, cool. And then we can just edit the canvas and move it up to where we need to go. So, as I said, to start with, we're making the shape of the wing first. And then we can do things like angle of incidence and sort that out later. I'm just trying to think if there's going to be any benefit with this wing, because we're going to have this the wheel spat, if you like. I'm just trying to think if there might be worth us actually building the anhedral into the wing now. This is a good one. Don't know. No. I think we build it straight and then change it later. Okay, so as before, we're going to then build a sketch over this. I'll be able to see it. There we go. Using my spline tool. That's a pretty good approximation. And then if you need to do any adjusting, you can come and do it using the, go back up, use the select tool, and there we go. But to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks pretty good. Remember, we're not building a full-size airplane, so you can get really hung up on it. I think as long as your approximation is, you know, close, you're not going to have a problem. Right, we do need to join this wing up though. I'm guessing this airfoil usually comes to a tip. I don't really know what to do there. I want to do something that looks okay, so we'll put it, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll put it nice and close like that, and then I'm just going to add in, oh, so I'm going to do that, and join it up. Then I'll use the fillet tool get that fillet tool again, go to the corners that you want. It's not letting me do both at once. One, okay, cool. There we go. And we're going to do the same sort of thing again as we did previously. We're going to make an offset plane. This wing's slightly shorter than the main wing. We go. And I'm going to create, project, we'll get our curve. Don't want a projection link because I want to be able to change it. That's not done. There we go. And I'll add in our little extra bit at the end. Cool. There we go. And we're going to do a similar sort of thing again of scaling it. And also, if we have a look at the top view of this wing, we can see that the taper is a bit greater. But the trailing edge is still straight. So whilst there's a bit of sweep in the wing, it's sweep because of taper, it's not swept back. But there's a little bit more sweep than last time. So we used about 80% on the last wing. So we'll go a little bit higher on this wing to make sure that we get the scale kind of look. So sketch scale. Highlight your sketch. I'm going to go from the back again. So this is the point about which the scale is going to happen. And 0.65. No, it's a bit more than that, isn't it? 0.6. 0.5 even. Yeah, let's go with 0.6. Okay. We talked about the washout again. I think with the leading edge wing, it's a good idea. So move copy, select it. I wonder if I can. It'd be good if we could get that point to be over there. We've got 2 degrees of washout there. Okay, cool. Finish that sketch. Let's see what it looks like. We'll do a loft. 2. Make it visible, that helps. Okay, let's have a look. Get rid of the canvases. We can see we've got some wings attached to the side of our airplane. Obviously at the moment they don't have any anhedral or any dihedral, so we can add that in a little bit later, but that's the general view. Now, if you remember back to the photos I posted, I'll put it back up here for a moment. One of the images I had some really cool winglets on the airplane, which I quite like on the main wing, and then of course on the front wing we've got to put the wheels on and stuff like that. So looking at our top-down view, I think we can afford to have a longer chord on the wing at the root, and this is always good. We want to get more wing area if we can, and generally I tend to go larger than the 3 view on the wing. If you can make the wing area anywhere between like 15 and 25% better, that's going to help you, or allow you certainly to have a smaller motor, fly the airplane a little bit slower. So having looked at that top-down view, I'm going to go back to my sketches of the wing root. I've got one there, and I'm going to get rid of the bodies for a second. I'm going to edit this sketch, and I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Sketch scale, point, trailing edge. Why is it not letting me select trailing edge? Brilliant. Finish the sketch, bring the bodies back, have a look at our work. That's good. And then we're going to do the same with this wing. I think the main change is because I have built my wing from the centre of the aircraft here, based upon the 3 view on the side, of course, which only shows the wing coming out. So that's why, one of the reasons why we're making it a bit bigger and then still matching up. So bodies can go, edit sketch, get rid of that that sketch as well. It's not in the way then. Select it, modify, scale, and oh, I get 2 on that one. Let's see what it looks like. So here we are with our forward wing, rear wing built a little bit bigger, tiny bit longer. I might make this one a little bit longer in the future, but we'll see. For now though, I think to make it look a bit like a Quickie, let's add in the anhedral on the forward wing and the dihedral, and then I'll show you how you can still edit the wings easily once you've done that. It is easier to do with things like put your ailerons in and your elevators in when they're level, because you can always refer back to the origin. But there's a way of doing it, just using parts of the shape that you're trying to change. Right, so we're just going to use the move function. This is dead easy. Select the function. We're trying to rotate. We need to pick an axis to rotate around, and we're going to rotate around this axis here. So I'm going to highlight that, and then come to the front of the model, and that's 5 degrees, -5, that's 4 degrees. That looks good. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the forward wing here, axis. Pick the same axis, the green axis there, and 5 degrees, looks good. There we go. Now obviously we only need to build wings on one side of the airplane, so we're only going to build this side, and then later on we can mirror it. If you're just dying to see what it looks like, you can always mirror it straight away, but you're going to have to replace them at some point later on. Last bit of housekeeping, we're going to call that the aft wing, and we'll call this one canard as it has moving surfaces. Here we go. So I've just taken away the bodies at the moment, and I've brought up the canvases of the wings, or the airfoils. You can see here, this black line here, this is the neutral line on the airfoil, right? So this would be if you lined this up to the kind of waterline on the airplane, the neutral on the airplane, you'd have a 0 degree angle of incidence. And if you line up this one here, again the same. So if you're using an airfoil generator like the one off the internet that I used, airfoiltools.com, you can you'll have this line. So when setting your angle of incidence, it's quite easy because if you cut it correctly for your canvas, you'll find that it's already lined up. Now, angle of incidence is the angle that the wing meets the aircraft. It has very little to do with the angle of attack. That's the angle at which the airflow hits the wing. But if you have 2 wings on the airplane, or when you have a wing and a tailplane, the angle of incidence together matter, and that's called, I think it's called decalage. I think it's French. I've done a load of research on this airplane. It would seem, because they're home built, that it varies from between -3 to +4. But generally, the way the airplane should work, with the centre of gravity somewhere in the middle, is both wings are producing lift. The wing that you want to stall first is the canard, as that will result in a pitch down. So when we set the decalage, that's what we need to think about. It's probably complicated here by the fact that you've got different airfoils. This is a thicker airfoil, a bigger chord, so it's not going to be exact. So I'm going to carry on doing a bit of reading, and then tomorrow we'll set the angle of incidence of the 2 wings, and that's the angle of incidence at the root, because we've added washout in. All right.